When I ended the last video, it was in the hope that a short follow-up tuning video would be it. Boy, was I wrong. What followed was 6 months of gremlin chasing. The main beastie that I was chasing was detonation on anything over a quarter throttle. Forget about full tilt buggy. Down the rabbit hole I went, starting with mechanically checking top dead center, then checking overall advance, all the basics. Nothing helped. I was still using the 4-pin GM HEI module that Fiat used, a new proper coil, a new distributor, all the good stuff. If I set the fuel table super rich, it mostly went away. So did the power. Checked the basics again. Found the new distributor had already broken an advanced weight spring. I scavenged a used spring from inventory, and still no help. That got me thinking. I know, trouble, huh? I knew that the Fiarduino was capable of timing correction, so I researched the 7-pin HEI module. I decided to give it a go. More wiring, more time, more frustration. Yes, it could control timing, but it turns out that some of the aftermarket HEI modules copied a variant that has some built-in timing curves that a few obscure articles talk about. Not being a fan of Fiat distributors, mainly due to the position in the engine bay, a position that cooks the oil seals and the plastic magnet under the pickup. Both lead to failure and embarrassing smoking. At that point, I'd had it with the whole ignition system. More research again. I'd seen others use dual pole coil packs on the inner fender and lose a distributor or use it just for a trigger. I wanted to do it differently, more simple. Coil on plug seemed to be the obvious choice. Fiarduino could handle it, so I looked around for smart coils to fit the bill. What turned out to be the right combination was Honda coils and GM LS boots. I designed an aluminum coil plate to hold it all together. Next was a crank trigger. Fiat left just enough room on the right side of the crank to fit a crank sensor. I made a simple bracket for it. It fits just so. I designed a 36-tooth trigger wheel, one missing tooth, mounts to the back of the crank pulley. I had to back cut the pulley 200 thousandths so that when assembled it clears the oil pump pulley. All of the other parts I had laser cut. It's mail order, fast and reasonable. Send a step file and it comes back your part. The precision is impressive. Check out the stainless trunk emblem. I set the missing tooth near top dead center. The trigger setting in Tuner Studio turned to be about 30 degrees after top dead center for firing position. Since there is no cam sensor, you must use batch fire on injectors and wasted spark on the coils. Once all of that was done, wow, finally, this engine came to life. Super torquey and effortless pulls. More importantly, no detonation. Special note here, when setting up your wiring harness for the coils, pin assignments on the board for ignition 1 through 4 are not cylinder assignments 1 through 4, but firing order. The manual does have examples of this, just got to read it. Things I've learned about Tuner Studio. ITBs. If you're going to run them, you need to set up the system for alpha N. In other words, TPS is now your main load input sensor. The map is for fine tuning. There are 2 critical things that must be corrected in Tuner Studio to prevent heartache later. The fuel table and timing table limits must be checked and or changed. Mine defaulted to 25%. This is the vertical column on the left. This needs to be changed to 100% if you're running normally aspirated, not 0 to 25%. You only have so many table slots, so the high percentages can drop 10% at a time. It's when you get down to 20% or lower where you want to add more definition. If you don't do this when you get past 25% load, it doesn't know what to do. Popping, sputtering, detonation, it's all bad. So it's been quite a journey from a stock carbureted 1.8 liter to a port injected 1.8 liter to the pumped TBI 2 liter it has now. Would I do it differently given the opportunity? Probably. The main difference would be likely a custom intake manifold with a large single throttle body. The Lampredi engine was really ahead of its time. It's nice to wake it up with some modern fuel management. Thanks for watching. Ciao.